But next on stage, we've got a final one. It's a Fireside Chat. And this is all about mass adoption of crypto, especially for the underbanked, which might actually appeal to you. In this case, it might not, but you're going to see some great practitioners talking about how the industry should go. Our moderator is a host of the David Lynn Report. That's David Lynn. And our speaker, joining him, is the head of growth, the One Inch Network, for Walid Benothman. Please put your hands together as we invite on stage David and Walid.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Please. Walid Benothman. Hi.
Hi.
We're here to talk about a very serious issue. Billions of people in the world don't have access to a bank account. How do we fix this? Before we talk about that, Walid, who are you?
Thank you for having me, David. It's a pleasure to be here in the beautiful Dubai, in the Future of Blockchain Summit. It's my third year here under the GITEX program, and it's the energy is amazing. The people I meet are fantastic. I think we are on something very nice.
Yeah, this is going to be a very exciting panel. I can feel the excitement in the people who have just left. I'm kidding. So let's, before we talk about 1 Inch, tell us about your professional background up until now. Very interesting background.
How long do you have?
We have.
Well, I've been born in France quite some time ago, and I started my career in the early 2000s in the open source world, in what we call big data, which is a kind of the ancestor of what is blockchain today.
Okay.
So I started in a company called Yahoo that invented the internet, and I was quite early there. I spent 10 years in that industry. I learned so much. I met amazing people, and about 8-9 years ago, I was since I'm a kid, I was always interested with technology. I got my first computer. I was 9 years old. I coded my first program. I was 10 on an Amstrad 6128 for the people who know that. I was one of the first generation, the first generation when I was 16 to use what is known today as social network. In my time it was called MySpace, it was called MSN, and I was always a fan of technology, and since this time I've been collecting technology, computer, video game, and that was because of a movie I saw too many times, I think, called Back to the Future.
Yeah.
So yeah, after working in big data and in this company Yahoo, I met a gentleman called Brad Garlinghouse. He was the CEO of AOL and became the CEO of a company that is known in payment that I was happy to join 9 years ago because they are addressing a use case that is dear to me. I'm from a Tunisian background. I have family in Tunisia. I'm born in France. So there was lots of money movement between France and Tunisia to help the cousin, to help the aunt. And the means to send that money was quite difficult and also a bit expensive. So yeah, when the opportunity arose to be part of the blockchain and to work for this company called Ripple, I was very happy to be one of the first employee of this company and to be part of the founding team in the Middle East. When I joined this company back in the days, there was no crypto company in Dubai. Yeah. There was no legal cryptocurrency framework. There was no usage of this tech in this region. And when I look back and see today that we have like regulator like VARA, ADGM, GIFC, another one coming up, that half of the real estate transactions are settled into crypto. I feel proud. I feel proud that how this country became a hub and a land of possibility for innovation to foster and to allow, a new type of asset class, a new type of financial instrument to address financial inclusion. I think at that time Ripple was solving a problem of financial inclusion. If you are sending money, let's say from France to Africa, you cannot send $5 because it's going to cost you 8. So here you can see an application of how this technology is uniquely positioned to solve that use case. Then after that, I joined a company called Curve, which was a non-custodial wallet provider out of the Middle East. And they were providing the wallet infrastructure for exchanges, banks, crypto banks, and they were acquired very early by a giant in payment from United States called PayPal.
So you have a background in payment solutions. What is the biggest problem right now in, let's say, banking, personal banking, payments, remittances? What is that big problem that 1inch is trying to solve?
I think it's trust. And that's the reason why I was very happy to join 1inch and be part of this fantastic team. I think we have a technology that does not require trust. Through smart contract, we can bring finance anywhere in the world to individuals that only have like a smartphone and an internet connection. We can include them in the financial system. We can offer them a new type of asset class. We can offer them opportunity to invest. We can provide them with micropayment, with microloan. And I think 1inch is super well positioned to be a catalyst in that sphere.
How do you compare sending money over the blockchain to Swift, let's say?
So Swift has been designed in 1972, the same year that gold was depegged from US dollar. Or the opposite, sorry.
1971, depegged.
71, yeah.
Yes.
71. And Swift was designed for high-value transaction, low volume, and it was good at that time. But I think when you look at today's world where you want to have real time, you want to have trust, you want to have certainty, you want to send money after 7 p.m. or 6 p.m., you want to be able to receive money on a weekend, Swift cannot do that. They are operating from Monday to Friday, from 8 to 5. They're down 16 hours a week.
These limitations are not new. They've been around for decades. Why is it that the banks have not fixed these problems?
The banks, they lost this battle already. And that's why we have the rise of companies like PayPal, like Venmo, like Karim Pay here in the UAE.
Right.
So they already lost that battle.
So they're not interested in making improvements and sending in payment solutions.
They are waking up. They are waking up, and you see that major banks are. There's like neobank that are spinning off from, legacy bank, I would say.
The big question that U.S. citizens were asking themselves in March, following the collapse of several regional banks, is can we still trust banks? Let's start with that. Let's talk about that. Do you trust your bank? Presumably you have your money in a bank, maybe several banks.
Of course I trust my bank, and I think we will always need to have banks.
Yeah.
But there's certain use case that doesn't require a bank. And for a bank as well, might not be economically viable for them to onboard certain type of user. When you call a call center of a bank, the cost for a bank is between $20 and $30 to have the operator answering on the other side. That's the cost for a bank. So let's say you make 10 calls a month and your average salary is $300, then you become a cost for the bank. And by design, a bank is not designed to be able to power, micropayment, cross-border payment. If I want to send $5 to my aunt in Africa right now, it's gonna cost me $8.
And they still offer many personal finance solutions, lending, for example, loans, credit, that a crypto wallet doesn't have. Perhaps the solution is to integrate something like 1inch to an existing financial rail, payments rail.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the direction where we are heading is exactly that.
You mentioned that the problem is high costs, right? How exactly, and please specify, how exactly does 1inch solve the problem of high-cost transactions and high-cost trading?
Through peer-to-peer connection and atomic settlement. So we don't use a central party. We enable a connection between the two users without a central party, using the internet and using cryptographic technique to exchange the value over the blockchain.
Okay. Now, let's suppose I am in a third world country, okay? And suppose I don't have a bank account. My life is okay, I guess. I have cash at home, if I have any, stored under, behind my mattress, but I want my life to improve. How can something like 1inch improve my life?
In different manner. So, for example, if you want to save money or store money, you need to trust the bank. The bank is a custodian. In the case of 1inch, we are a non-custodial, which means that your asset is always under your control. I'm sure you heard many times this quote, "Not your key, not your coin," when after the FTX crash. In the case of 1inch, we are non-custodial. You are always in control of your asset because you hold the private key that is the access to your asset. 1inch, think of it as a router, right? As an intermediary. It will connect you exactly where you want to be. In the beginning of 1inch, we were called the Expedia of Web3, the Google of Web3, because we aggregate multiple sources of liquidity and we offer this to our user. So I think technology here, you can see that solve this issue of movement of value from A to B. We live in a world that is becoming more globalized, whether we like it or not. You are from Canada.
Yeah.
I'm from France. We are in Dubai. We are not speaking Arabic. We are speaking English. You see how also the shipping industry has evolved in the 50s. It's now easier to send something from Colombia to Saudi Arabia than sending money from Saudi Arabia to Colombia. It's going to take more time and cost more money.
The other problem I see is that even if I am able to transact with you peer-to-peer, let's say using Bitcoin, it could be any cryptocurrency, I still have to off-ramp that into fiat in order to buy something for my life, right? Do you think that can change? If you had to identify a few protocols or coins that could be a form of payment, a medium of exchange, what would they be?
I think banks have a role to play here. And they will transform. I think actually, in 10 years from now, the biggest bank in the world will be called Apple.
Interesting. Why?
Because they have like more than 500 million users that are already KYC. And I saw Apple about 6 months ago launching their first financial product, Apple Earn.
Yes.
That provide, if I'm not mistaken, 5% of yield. When you see, for example, where I'm coming from in France, what you can get in terms of yield, it's 2%, which is less than the cost of the money. So I think today banks will transform into something different, and that company like 1inch can be an enabler for them to succeed in that transformation.
How?
Because we provide a technology that can... So we have launched something called dev portal, 1-inch lab. Think of it as Amazon Marketplace, for example. So when you are like this type of company, like, I don't know, like Sony or Samsung or BMW, and you are looking to address new use cases that require the blockchain, you're not going to focus on building those products, because that time you're not going to spend in doing what you are best at,
Yes.
building car or building electronic. So you're going to look at what the market offer in terms of tech, in terms of feature, and that's what's Dev Portal. We have like multiple API there that you can consume, that you can build on top of it, that are already proven, enterprise grade, at scale, and that can be reused by those companies to succeed in their Web3 transformation, I would say.
I just want to ask the audience, show of hands if you regularly make online purchases using a form of cryptocurrency. Okay, fair number of people, but most people do not, all right? I'm curious as to if cryptocurrencies are indeed a superior form of payment for many of the reasons that other panelists have already stated. Why is everyone's hands not up?
Because cryptocurrency is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we've achieved the first mile. Look at, for example, United States. It was always at the top, at the innovation. When I was a teenager, I was impressed by the Silicon Valley the first time I went there in '96. Amazing, right? And they did everything they could to accelerate this innovation in Web 1 and Web 2. Today you have uncertainty, change of flow, company that collapse, lack of clarity, hundreds of millions of legal fees spent to make a point. So I think, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we've just achieved the first mile.
Okay, and what's the next step, let's say, to helping, I guess, facilitate more usage of cryptocurrencies in our regular lives?
I think regulation is important for bringing trust to the user, and clarity. And that, like I say, I'm not in cryptocurrency myself. I'm not a speculator. I'm in blockchain, I'm in technology, I'm in innovation. And I think there's lots of hypes and lots of food right now around this tech. And I think we need like regulatory clarity to bring trust to the audience.
Yes.
And for them to feel safe and secure. But if you look purely at the tech itself,
right.
I was asked a question by the Ministry of Digital Transformation in France, and I love this question. He looked at us, he was listening to us, and he said, I love 1-inch. I think it's an amazing tech. I understand what you're doing, but can you explain to me what is this technology uniquely positioned to solve which use case? And we answered financial inclusion, micropayment, microloan. And we're already seeing that. When you have giant like Apple launching an earn account, you should realize what it means. Apple, they're known to make computer.
Do you think it's only a matter of time before Apple starts to offer cryptocurrency?
I think yes. I think they will.
So I can deposit Bitcoin with Apple?
I think they will.
1-inch is currently partnering with a few large companies. I'm interested in learning about the intersection between the traditional finance world, where existing large corporate entities, and new up-and-coming DeFi companies, right? So
I think it's a great question. So not long ago, so the DNA of 1-inch is always protect the user. Our ethic is very high. One of our co-founder was processing a swap on 1-inch, and he experienced MEV attack, a sandwich attack. which basically was front run.
A what attack?
Front run, a sandwich attack.
Okay.
It's when you process a trade on a venue and you are front run by other trader and you lose a portion of that trade. And in his case, he lost a few ETH. It was quite significant.
Yes.
He didn't sleep all night and start to think, how can I solve that? I'm sure there's a technology that can do that. And he came up with the concept of the Dutch auction and how he can use the Dutch auction. And I like this company for that because we are very fast, we are very efficient. That's in our DNA. So what he did is he asked all of our developers to come in Dubai, in closed door, in a hotel for 30 days, right? 7 days a week, 9, 10 days, like an internal hackathon. And they came up with a solution called Fusion Mode. And Fusion Mode is made in Dubai and born in Dubai. The way it works, you can think of it as a decentralized OTC, like a decentralized NASDAQ, where market makers compete to offer the best resolution for user. Since we launched this new feature, Fusion, 6 months ago, we processed more than 10 billion on this feature. So yeah, maybe in the audience, not yet we are there with the mass adoption, and I don't think we are, because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But we are fully geared up to do that race.
Why are so many crypto companies moving to Dubai or based here?
I think Dubai is a financial hub. When you look at the map of the world, it's like in the center of the world. And they inspire themselves with Singapore and Hong Kong. This country is very agile. They're only 50 years old. Imagine. So when television was invented, this country didn't exist, for example. How fast they evolved. Because they have a level of agility and flexibility. And also, they're not conservative, they're very open. They're very open to new idea, new tech. And yeah, I think they offer
How is the regulatory landscape in Dubai different from, let's say, other places?
We
US.
have law in France that are 1,500 years old. Imagine, you have a law today to solve a situation that did not exist 2,000 years ago.
What law is this?
Many law when you buy an apartment, when you sell
Right.
or when you have somebody, like, for example, in the heritage, in the legacy, when you have some of your beloved that die and pass you something, you have a ton of document, you know? I think here everything is straightforward because those laws were written not long ago, right? So here, it takes 2 days, for example, to open a company and have a bank account when you're not in Web3. We're not yet there yet. In Europe, it's going to take you like one document and another document that prove that the document that you have provided is valid. Here, they have implemented all the latest technology. So once you have your Emirates ID, your bank account, you're in the system. Like, for example, UAE Pass, right? Are you familiar with that? UAE Pass is fantastic. Once you're onboarded there, then you have access to all type of services to facilitate your life, right? My daughter lives in Sweden. She's 13. There is a law in Sweden that when you are 13, your parents cannot take an appointment at the doctor on your behalf. You, as a kid, is the person who has to take that appointment. But guess what? If you don't have a bank account with a digital ID, then you cannot have the appointment. How stupid is that, right? Here, they have this agility, you know, this understanding that laws are made to serve the public, to protect the public, right? Not to control them.
There's a lot of emerging technology surrounding privacy and ID. WorldCoin, for example. Sam Altman's WorldCoin, you scan your eyeballs, and then they have a record of all the users' eyeballs, or and in exchange, they will offer you some tokens. Now, here's where it's interesting. The idea is that in the future, AI will be able to deepfake everybody, and so you need to have a digital ID that is unique to yourself. What do you think of this idea?
I think like there is AI that can deepfake, like you call it. There
Yeah.
will be AI that will uncover deepfake. I saw a project, very interesting project, that is like decentralized CV on the blockchain, right? So the AI create your CV as you are evolving in your professional career, and it's all on the blockchain. That is fantastic, right? So there's no more fake profile or, like
The
fake information.
The
or-
AI is creating the CV. How is it doing that?
As you going, I have
Okay.
looked at this amazing project. I think
Okay.
also here we are at the beginning. I don't know if AI is gonna serve the humanity like the Industrial Revolution. I think there was a gentleman, Elon Musk, who called for like emergency meeting with
Yeah.
the leader of this world, to regulate AI. This can be wild. It can be used for, bad intention.
Yeah. Speaking of bad intentions, I was watching a panel by Dr. Richard Werner here, or not a panel, but a presentation. He was presenting about the dangers of CBDC, central bank digital currency. His viewpoint is that this is just a tool for the central banks and central authorities to gain more power. So now we see, according to his view, now we see, and he's not alone, many people believe this, now we see an example of governments using blockchain technology for, some would argue, malicious purposes. That being less privacy for us. They know everything we're going to do. They know all the transactions we're going to take. And they can control your money. While they say, hey, look, we don't like that you were emitting too much carbon footprints. We're going to cut you back on air travel.
So you can see that from that side, but you can also say that CBDC are going to be there to avoid like what you can do with cash. I think the first purpose of CBDC was to migrate towards a cashless society. I gave the example of Sweden. In Sweden, you cannot pay more than... There's nowhere that accept cash anymore. Everything is digital. And maybe cash is used sometime in a malicious way. So you could argue on the other side that they're doing that to actually protect us from those malicious exposure that cash, can do. I'm quite confident that we live in a democratic world where the people are able to vote for their leader. So again, I always see technology as an enabler. It's not gonna cure the malicious spirit of the world. It's an enabler for the people to live better together.
Do you think CBDCs will directly compete with all the other existing cryptos? Because think about it, you have essentially a fiat currency that is on the blockchain. And so if everybody is using that or has to use that, what is the purpose of a stable coin or using Bitcoin? There's no more need for that, right?
Oh no, the purpose is to hedge and to have like a store of value, basically.
Okay.
Like digital gold. I think stablecoins are great when they are pegged with real life asset, because it's not easy to transport 1 kilogram of gold. You can lose it. How do you pay with gold? Are you gonna cut with your hand, or you know what I mean?
Well,
So-
you have gold in a vault, and then you have digital, receipts of the gold. But yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
you can have. You can imagine like a stable coin pegged on real estate, for example, as well.
Let me ask you a question,
Sure.
Walid. Okay, so I asked this question to somebody else. Very interesting. So you have what, 2 kids?
I have one that I
Okay.
know of.
Okay. So you want to leave your kid an inheritance. You have three choices: Bitcoin, gold, or real estate. You can only choose one.
Bitcoin.
That was a fast
kn-
answer. Why?
Do you know why?
Please tell us.
There's only 21 million Bitcoin. In the
Okay.
case of cash, we saw during COVID, they printed $7,000 billion out of thin air. With Bitcoin, you cannot do that. So, my daughter saving are all in Bitcoin. And 1inch as well.
And you would choose 1inch network, but you would choose Bitcoin over gold.
Yes. Every day, every week, every month.
Is Bitcoin a better store of value than gold?
Yes.
Yes. Only because it's grown more in value over the last 13 years?
No, because it's limited. Once it's there, it's there. There's no replication. Do you know why Bitcoin was invented in the first place?
Well, the white paper says peer-to-peer network.
No, but the use case is not that. They were
Yes.
looking for technology to send value over the internet.
Yeah.
But you know when you send an email
Yeah.
on internet, you're not actually physically sending the email. It's a copy. So Walid send an email to David, there's two copy. Then David send an email to, it's another copy.
Oh.
Bitcoin solved that, right? That's why it was created.
The first transaction using Bitcoin was a pizza. Right?
Yeah,
Remember
a
that?
ve-
Someone bought a pizza.
expensive one.
It was a very now it's a very expensive one. But that was the idea, to use a digital currency to purchase something, right?
That's right.
Okay. So let's close off on 1inch network again. Tell us about some of the partnerships you have right now with some Fortune 500 companies that you can talk about.
So 1inch Lab, we power, like I say, we are a technology company. We power the most incredible companies. So lately we just closed a co-marketing campaign with Trust Wallet, which is one of the top Web3 wallet available in the industry. We also power MetaMask, which is also a large player in that space. When it comes to typical Fortune 500 company, unfortunately, I'm under NDA, I cannot say anything, but we have a lot of things cooking with them
Okay.
around use cases.
So I understand the appeal of a decentralized entity like 1inch for the underbanked. Okay, we talked about that already. But let's say I live in Canada,
Yeah?
developed country. So if you think about my life, for example, I have a bank for my custody of my wealth.
Yeah.
If I want to buy Bitcoin, there are Canadian exchanges or existing CeFi exchanges that I can on-ramp and off-ramp quite easily. If I want to custody my Bitcoin, I can use a hard wallet. So what is the appeal? Convince me to use 1inch. Where does 1inch fit in my life?
1inch fits in your life because it's a non-custodial wallet and it gives you access to a new type of asset class in a very liquid and a very simple manner to access in a couple of clicks. It's the concept of money Lego.
Yeah.
You are Canadian. If you want to invest in amazing financial opportunity, you need to be an accredited investor, right? You know what's an accredited investor?
Yes.
You need to have $1.5 million. You need
Yes.
XYZ. In the case of 1inch, we will give you access to financial instrument. We'll give you access to a financial instrument that will expose you to a different type of asset class. You can invest $10 if you want, you know?
Yes.
And you can do that in a couple of clicks only. I don't think that your bank offer you something like this today.
Yes, you're right. I'm curious to get your thoughts on, and I'll open up the floor to some questions if anybody has questions. But I want to get your thoughts. Yesterday I was in my hotel room. I was scrolling through Twitter. I saw a bunch of people tweet, "Oh, the iTrust BlackRock Bitcoin ETF was approved." I don't know how that story started, but it was turned out to be fake news. And then people started to backtrack today. Anyway, it wasn't approved. So there was this big commotion yesterday. Do you think this actually has any impact on mass adoption, institutional adoption? Once we have a Bitcoin ETF, the saying goes, where the belief is that we're going to have a lot more institutions enter the space, driving up interest for the entire crypto ecosystem.
I think as soon as we have clarity in the US market, that will definitely help for mass adoption. USA was always a catalyst for innovation. And today, it's only restriction, lawsuit, change of mind.
Yeah.
One day it's okay, the other day it's not okay. So mass adoption is already there in the real estate in the UAE. Like I said, 50% of real estate transactions are settled in crypto. A technology that did not exist 10 years ago. We are there. But like I say, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I think more use cases that will rise and more of those use cases that will be addressed by this technology will drive to mass adoption. Always, I think, when you are in this space, if I can give an advice and you start to pitch your company, don't start with I build. Start with I saw a problem and this is how I'm solving this problem and I'm building this tech because these technologies, only this technology can solve this problem.
What, in your opinion, I'll ask one more question and then open the floor. What, in your opinion, is the fastest growing use case for crypto adoption in the world right now?
I think payment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think payment.
Not gaming? What about gaming?
Yeah, gaming as well. Gaming is now an industry that is bigger than movies.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely gaming, and that's where a company like 1inch can be instrumental for all those gaming industry. I mentioned the dev portal. There's a bunch of API there that you can consume for those gaming platform, to exchange their token between each other, to off-ramp their token, to on-ramp their token. So I think there's a lot there you can build on. And yeah, definitely gaming is another one.
Good. I think we're almost out of time. Does anyone have any questions for Walid and 1inch?
If there is question, there is always reward. So I have some 1inch token airdrop for anyone with a question that I can provide the answer. They're here for you guys, ready to collect.
That's not a token. What is that?
That's Chinese oil.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Walid. I
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
it. It was a lot of fun. And thank you for staying until the end. Have a great evening.
Excellent. What a wonderful, informative presentation. Fantastic, David. Really appreciated that.
Thank you.
Amazing stuff. And Walid, I learned so much, and you're spot on with the things that you shared on stage. Really appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Take a picture.